Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Andrew Yang in beast mode. Now, what do I mean by that? So basically today I want to talk about the advantages of Andrew Yang beyond UBI, right? So Andrew Yang is doing an amazing job of telling his opinion of UBI, of bringing the good news to the people, saying, hey, I have this plan. It's $1,000 a month for every adult American. And boy, is he beating that drum. And that's exactly what he needs to be doing right now. He needs to get the message to the people through the media. He needs to win the camera, control the camera. And he's doing it, right? But what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about advantages we will get from Andrew Yang. One of the advantages we'll get from Andrew Yang being president that he's not talking about really because he doesn't have a ton of time to do that, right? And he has to have a simple, cohesive message, right? But we, as Andrew Yang supporters, can kind of elucidate some of his some of his other facets, his attributes that he doesn't have the time to talk about. Today, I want to talk about the benefits of having a tech president, the benefits of having the first tech president, okay? Now, the closest thing we've had to a tech president was Obama. I really felt like Obama really understood technology at a better level than any president previously, right? So one of the things that's interesting is we're coming out of this period where we've really been using politicians to be the president for a long time. I am convinced that needs to die. I don't think a politician should ever be president again. And the reason why is the president absolutely needs political advisors, but the president does not need to be a politician, and actually should not be a politician. And this is one of the problems is, in order to be a politician previously, you would get a political science degree. I have a political science degree. And then basically and then you would go into law, or you would become kind of a writer, or you become, basically it was in order to govern America, no one was learning deeply technology, right? And that is now changing. I really feel like Trump has shown, you're going to get incredibly different presidents if you get people who aren't politicians to be president. I think the American people have learned that lesson, and go forward, we're going to have non-politicians as presidents. So I really think Andrew Yang will be the first tech president. Now, he will be way beyond the capabilities of Obama simply because he's an American tech entrepreneur. So Andrew Yang is an American tech entrepreneur, right? And that's huge, and he comes from startup culture. And there's some very distinct advantages to this. So I want to talk about it. So I have a mnemonic to remember all my points. I'm going to give that mnemonic now, and then I'll use that mnemonic to go through my 3 different points. All right. So AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, handing a computer to the Golden Gate Bridge. That computer doing like a touchdown run with that computer straight into an Airbnb. All right. So let's do it up. All right. AOC handing AOC with a computer. The first thing that Andrew Yang can do as our first tech president is he can do a massive overhaul of the government itself to actually use technology correctly, okay? Now, I will tell you right now, the vast majority of law offices and government facilities, their tech is absolute trash, like the worst, right? Now, I'm a technology professional. I've been doing tech for, long time. At least, I think I went into tech in about 1998. So that's a solid 20 years, right? I've made my living through technology for 20 years, right? And during that time, I've learned a few things, right? And so here's what I've learned that absolutely needs to die in the government right now. So right now, the government uses thick clients. They use really robust, they actually use very old tech like Dell computers and Microsoft computers. And what they do is they install applications on those computers. It is ridiculously slow and ancient, right? Now, what is the modern way to use computers, right? Well, I'll say it right now. I use computers in the best way possible, right? Because I'm a tech professional, right? And so what you would do is you would take the entire fleet, right? the entire fleet up to, actually you would take 90% of the fleet, of the government fleet of computers, and immediately turn them into Chromebooks, right? Chromebooks, what? Right? The reason why you would use Chromebooks is they're dirt cheap. You can buy them for 250 bucks max, right? And basically you don't install, and they have very little storage. They connect to the web very easily. And then once you're connected to the web, you would use all applications on the server side, right? So what you would do is you convert the entire fleet of computers at the government level, with 10% reserved for super, super high-end professionals, right? So 90% of the fleet would be converted to Chromebooks within the first year, and you would use all non-installed applications. If you want to know if the organization you are working with has trash tech, look for installed applications. Installed applications are the first sign that the people you're dealing with on the tech side absolutely do not know what they're doing, right? So here's the reality is, if you want to use an application today, right? There's a couple ways to do it. You can go to a website and then use that website to do your processing, your computer activities, right? That's a good model, right? Whatever company has this application, they have a website, they distribute their functionality through a website. Now, the cool thing is, all you need to use that application, and they can make that as robust and as powerful as they want on the server side. You don't have to install the application onto the computer. You're just using your computer to connect to the website, right? The other issue is, if you need an installed application, fine. Install that application on a VDI, a virtual desktop interface, a virtual machine. Install that application on a virtual machine, and then allow people to connect with a thin client with a Chromebook to that virtual machine and use the application on the virtual machine. The installation should be done on the virtual machine side. So all installed applications would go away immediately on government computers as fast as possible. I think you could do the whole conversion in a year. So Chromebooks, and kill with a spear every single installed application, right? That right there, and then also use that change, right, to listen for the people you need to fire. Right? Everybody's like, oh, we can't do this. Oh, that's a bad idea. They're either getting paid by a software they're getting paid by a software sourcing company, right? Or they don't know tech well, and there's a ton of people in tech that don't know tech well, right? And so now you're not going to fire them on day one. You're going to have a conversation and say, listen, this needs to happen. You need to get on board, right? So, but after that, you definitely would be looking, and the more negatively they react to this plan, the more likely is you need to replace them, right? And we want to have people who are good at their jobs, sound, and I don't think I would fire them. That might be a little harsh. I would just demote them and then promote the people who understand the value of an actual strong tech approach, right? So that would be on day one. And I think Andrew Yang would be willing to do this, right? And the reason why is he understands tech. Anybody who understands tech realizes that installed applications, they're like mice in a kitchen, right? Like if you walk into a kitchen and you see mice, you know the people that are taking care of that kitchen are not doing a good job. Installed applications are the mice of technology, right? Okay, basically it should be a website, or it should be or it should be virtual machines. Thin clients connecting to virtual machines, right? That is the future. And of course, AWS is in there as well. Amazon Web Services, cloud-based computing as well. So all three of those, a website that you connect to, installed applications on virtual machines with installed applications, and then Amazon, and then any kind of cloud services. Those are solid distributions of applications. Anybody who's installing applications onto the user's computer, no, just like that's a huge signal that those people need to be demoted, replaced, and then brought back up brought back up once they understand, right? Once they understand correctly. Excuse me. All right. AOC is handing that computer to the Golden Gate Bridge. And that is infrastructure. We actually need a ton of work to be done in America in infrastructure, right? But the problem that I have is, one, I love this aspect of Donald Trump's government, right? He really has focused on it. He has said that he was going to focus on infrastructure. It is hard for me to tell the infrastructure stuff that he has done, right? And that is a failure on the part of Donald. So I love that he is focused, that he has identified infrastructure as something that needs to be done. I'm not sure he's done anything with that problem so far. And I should be able to know that, right? So I pay attention to political news, and I can't point to a single infrastructure change that he has actually finished, right? And I should be able to. And the reason why is when you do your work, the best boss I ever had, actually, he wasn't the best boss I ever had. He was the boss I made the most money under. All right. Told me something that I never believed. He said, you spend a third of your time deciding what you're going to do, a third of your time doing it, and a third of your time telling people what you did. And if you don't do that, you're not going to succeed. And when he said it, I literally laughed at the table. And every day since, it's been proven to be true, right? So basically, Donald Trump has already decided we're going to focus on infrastructure. He did the first part right. He might have actually done the work, but he didn't tell anybody. He didn't make it evident through the media what infrastructure changes have been made. Now, Yang should absolutely transform and make Trump's plan a million bazillion times better by using tech to improve the infrastructure of America. So I think under Donald Trump, I don't think he has a passion for tech. I don't think he has really the appropriate respect for tech, right? And I think what he would need is like, okay, let's replace every highway, and they would just pave the highways again, right? Which would be helpful because we'd have, freshly paved highways. But Andrew Yang, you could do something and say, hey, why don't we replace asphalt? Right? Like, why don't we make a better road? Or even better, say all new roads are built underground, or all new roads are elevated above the current roads, right? That would be a use of tech. And then you would say, listen, I need, and then you would anoint some startup to say, I want you to build the new elevated roads for America. That would be great. I would love that, right? So let's use our current road pathways, and then above every single major thoroughfare in America, let's do an elevated road sitting right on top of it. And let's use the best physics, let's use the best alloys, let's use the most current technology to get that job done. That one thing, right? Elevated roads above every other road. You know what that would do? It would cut down traffic immediately, right? And it would allow us to, places, and you could pilot those programs in places like Los Angeles. Los Angeles has an absolutely horrific traffic problem, but if you did an elevated road above every single major thoroughfare there, right, that would be fantastic, right? It was really, and if you leverage tech, and this is another thing that I think Yang would totally get, right, is allow tech to be pushed to its limits by the demands we as a nation have, and then allow the infrastructure that is built within our country to stand as examples of innovation and excellence for every other country in the world. Because that's, and I feel like that's what we as America are actually exporting. Innovation, style, and cool, right? And really the style and cool comes through our entertainment. Like, we really are, I think America is really like, it's the cool kid in high school. Everybody loves us. Everybody wants to be us. Everybody wants to be near us, right? With a few exceptions, with a few exceptions, right? And so I think that would be a really good way to go. All right, the Golden Gate Bridge takes that computer and runs into an Airbnb. So I want to talk about my stuff, my business, right? So Airbnb is a perfect example of this. My house is now a hotel, right? And of course, there's also Lyft. Lyft is a perfect example. So Lyft is, my car, my taxi. My car becomes a taxi. Airbnb is my house becomes a hotel, right? And so this is, it's really a really cool new way that America is getting business done. And one of the things that I think would be incredibly useful, right, is if the president understood how to allow these businesses to grow and while respecting the current structure. A perfect example of this is the Lyft scooters, right? So Lyft scooters have been put into cities all over America, right? But all those electric scooters, they're just put there, right? There's no real, often there really isn't. They're asking for what's the term? Better to ask for forgiveness than permission, right? And so there's a lot of these tech startups that just kind of run in and jam themselves in, right? Well, I think, and right now, good Lord, what does Donald Trump know about, monitoring, helping the electric scooter industry grow while also respecting the safety of citizens and the sovereignty of cities, right? Donald Trump don't know nothing about that, honestly. Now, he has tech advisors who can help him, but I really think it would be awesome if we had somebody who's been in a startup and who actually knows tech to help us as a nation deal with these new, exciting opportunities so that everybody gets served. Not just the companies that bring them out, but everybody's respected, everybody has a say, and there's a actual approach to this that is helpful and winsome, right? Andrew Yang is going to be our first tech president. I think he's going to be awesome. I'm so excited about Andrew Yang as a candidate, and I think he has a lot more to offer than just UBI. I get that UBI's the big draw for a lot of people. Totally understand that, but I'm telling you, Andrew Yang is going to be in beast mode when he actually goes in November when he's elected in November of 2020. And I think this is going to be one of the awesome things that he's going to bring is being the first tech president. I'm excited about it. What do you think? Was there anything I didn't mention that might be a true benefit from him? Let me know in the comments below. Also, please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful day.